stay with the squad, yeah. Trap at any spot, yeah. My new bitch got long hair. Hate on me, I don't care. Brand new Jordans came out.
Okay. All right, so I made a promise to myself that I would get this video created. So we're going to talk about if you are wanting to use college, NCAA, those type of rosters, or would high school work? No, high school wouldn't work. Well, college and NCAA rosters. So as you can see on the screen here, I'm playing with a North Carolina Tar Heel branded team. So I need to back out of the screen. So let's do that now. All right, so I have but this team is branded as North Carolina, but if I go over to the roster, you'll see that it's actually the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just rebranded them for the purposes of this video. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys how you can simulate graduating players and players that are entering the draft. Okay. So this is not so much for the guys making the rosters, but this video is for the guys actually playing with the college rosters and want to do multiple years and recruiting and all of that stuff. This video is going to specifically pertain to graduating players and players leaving through the draft. Okay. All right. So in this example, we're going to say that Collin Sexton is a freshman that is leaving for the NBA draft at the end of the season, and Kevin Love is a senior that will graduate. Maybe he will enter the draft, but it won't matter either way because he's definitely graduating and leaving. All right. So what we would do at the end of the season after the playoffs, what we would do to simulate these two scenarios is I would go to edit player. So this has to be done right after. Well, you can do it right at the very beginning of the off season if you want it. All right. So what I would do is I would go into edit player, go to this player who's a senior, and go to import player DNA. Now you're going to have this player DNA already created, but I'll show you what it is in just a second. But for now, let's just stick with what we're doing. I'm going to go to player DNA, and I have player DNA for a graduate here. It says graduate for college roster. So I'm going to import the appearance and attributes. And so this is what my graduates are going to look like. So I'm going to go to keep changes and return. And as you can see, the Kevin Love has disappeared from up here. And let's see where he is. So he's all the way down here. So the player's name is player graduated. His overall is a 40. And also the cool thing about it is if you look at that contract, here I'll go into edit player and show you. If you go to not vitals. If you go to contract, because the contract carries over in player DNA, if you didn't know. If you're in a MyLeague, the player contract definitely carries over. So now his contract years are 0, and his years left / the money that he makes is 0. It's all 0. So he's no longer counting against your team cap. So it says player graduated. So if you're at the beginning of an off season again, actually, I honestly think you guys should do this right before the off season begins, after the playoffs and all the awards and all that. Right before you go into the off season, edit the rosters. All right, we're gonna do something similar for Collin Sexton. Go over to edit player. Since we know he's going to be considered a freshman phenom going into the draft, we're going to import player DNA. And this time we're going to use the one for enter draft. Import both appearance and attributes. All right, as you can see here, now this another bald guy, but this time he's a black bald guy. So keep changes in return. Again, as you can see, Collin Sexton is no longer here. Other players move up, and then we're gonna go down. And so this one says player entered draft. The overall is a 42. So if you do this before you start the off season, since these guys don't have a contract, once you get to the off season and you start going through your recruits via draft or whatever and signing your recruits, and once it comes to the free agency portion of the off season, these guys will drop into free agency, or you could immediately drop them into free agency immediately after doing this, since they don't count against your cap or anything. You would just release them to free agency. But you know, if you don't have enough players, then don't do that. Just wait for the off season. But yeah, these guys will drop into free agency, and I think the game just automatically deletes them off of the roster because their age, I've already made their age 40 years old. So these guys will drop off of the roster and be overwritten by the game for the most part. And even if they're not overridden, these players will not be used in any real game, or also they will not be used in any simulations, unless you just have like hundreds and hundreds of these type of players. These players are just going to disappear from your rosters. If you do this at the end of your season, after the playoffs, after the championship, and before the off season, these players will disappear from your rosters, like the complete roster, not just your team roster. These players will disappear from the complete roster before the beginning of the next season and before you start getting your new freshmen in or whatever. So that this is definitely a tip for those looking to play college and NCAA inside of MyLeague. Now, how you create these, I'll go over that in a different video. Yeah, I'll go over that in a different video. How to create the stock players for a player that has entered the draft and a graduated player. But for now, I just wanted to get this video out to let you guys know this is a way you should be using player DNA to create better MyLeagues for college or NCAA. It's going to help free up a lot of space when you're, going through your new rosters and signing new freshmen each year. If you're doing like a 5-year MyLeague with college teams, it's going to make it much more fun and much easier to get rid of players that are no longer on the roster. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for those who didn't really have an interest but just wanted to see what this video was about. Hopefully I've helped some people who want to use college rosters inside of MyLeague. Hopefully this helps for you guys. All right, guys, till next time, I am out.